Well, hello and welcome again to the 2012 Fad. I will be your host for this evening. My name is Charlie Bluehawk. Last night we talked about corporate dumbing down and the post-event plantations that the moron masters are dreaming that they will rule over, and how the moron masters have been convinced that the event is a hoax. Unfortunately, it's a hoax that will kill all of them, just like it will kill almost all of us. And so for the moron masters, starting civil wars based on peaceful protests in Wisconsin, Illinois, dumbing down their corporations just to buy back their shares for next to nothing so they can control everyone and everything after the hoax is revealed, I guess there are stupid people everywhere. But tonight I thought we would chat about how the real masters, the smart masters, are bringing about the end of days from their Christian Bible. And you have to stop and think about this. Why would the masters even care about staging the final battle at Armageddon, which, by the way, is like one small passage in the Bible that's never mentioned again anywhere else? Why would the smart masters care when they're safely hidden away in their hidden cities underground in the crust of the earth with their genetically bred human stock, their cattle, who will service all their needs? I mean, why should they at that point even care? I mean, the dead brown dwarf star isn't coming. It's here. You can see it from the northern hemisphere now with a cheap telescope. The smart masters, they care because it's part of their ritual. It's part of their religion. It's part of their great work. The masters, our masters, truly believe that their God, Satan, and again, doesn't matter if you believe in Satan or not. Doesn't matter if you believe in God or not. It doesn't matter what you believe. They believe it. And frankly, it's working really well for them for the last 5,000 years, so they probably know something we don't know. Anyway, the real masters, the smart masters, believe that their God, Satan, will be returned to the earth, but only in a mass sacrifice of all life on the surface of the planet. In black magic, death by fire is one of the most powerful rituals you can have. There are others, of course. Killing children is preferred because children have the greatest amount of life force. Raping them first is always a good idea. Eating their flesh while they are still alive is better. You have to be careful, though. You got to spill their blood on a specific altar stone as they die screaming, because it's very powerful magic. And it gives me absolutely no joy to say these things to you. It just is real. It happens. I've known about it all my life. Wish I didn't. Thank the goddess I've never seen it. Thank the goddess I don't think I've ever known personally anyone who did it. I would think that if such an individual was in my presence, I would know. The closest I've ever seen is a guy possessed by a demon, actually several people possessed by demons. But that was free will stuff and none of my business. It gives me no joy to say these things to you. But you need to know who you are dealing with. From my point of view, anyone who harms a child in any way should simply be killed. Because if they harm a child once, they'll do it again. I grew up with child rapers. I know for a fact that nothing will stop them because they enjoy hurting children and they know they can get away with it. So from my point of view, anyone who harms a child should die, and should die instantly, because they will never stop. I'm one of those children who was abused as a child. I know for a fact those who abused me are still doing it, and they're in their 80s, 90s, because they had the power. So do I think this is a good thing, black magic? No, I don't. But I think you have the right to know who you're dealing with and why there'll never be a meeting of the minds between us and them. They literally live in a different reality than you and I. And they're quite happy with it. To them, inflicting pain and horror and torture, even on each other, is a way of life. They do to their children what they do to ours. That's who you're dealing with. But in black magic, to kill by fire almost 7 billion people, mostly innocent people, and all the animal and plant life at the same time, they're going to do this just before the dead brown dwarf star flips the Earth, our home, end for end. It's going to wipe us out anyway, so, why bother? But it's the great work, their great work. And it has to happen, I am guessing, on a specific date, because all black magic is all based on numbers and on dates, the big events at least. That's why they had 9/11 in New York on 9/11. That's why they had the 7/7/7 attack in London. I can never tell if it's 7/7/7 or 7/7. I always get confused with numbers. Those are critical dates on the black magic calendar. So I'm guessing that the burning alive of 7 billion people with fire would be considered a big event. Now they're going to do this because how they're going to do this, the masters have set up their harp stations all over the world now. You and I have seen them practicing with their harp technology in Australia for the last few years. We talked about it in a previous episode. So what does this have to do with us, with you and me? Well, frankly, at this point in our history, it really depends. It depends on whether you actually want to survive the event. If you want to survive the event, you need a plan. We at the 2012 Fab, we have a plan. It's called The Village. And I've been designing and redesigning it now for 40 years. All we need at this very late date is money, and a lot of it. My original goal was 20 years ago to start building the village and have it evolve naturally and grow naturally and develop our own culture, our own way of life. We don't have that luxury now. We have 18 months, maybe. So this is all going to be very artificial and very structured and very hurried. And as we all know, when you have to do something at the last minute, it's going to cost you double, triple, quadruple what it normally would cost when you had the time. We don't have the time. Inside the village, we will survive not only the flip, we will survive the fire that maybe will precede it. I'm guessing, it's just a guess, that the masters, who still have to rely on human beings to do their dirty work for them, regardless of the quality of those human beings, I'm guessing they'll not be able to pull off the burning the planet alive stunt. I'm guessing. There are too many people involved. People who are still on the surface of the earth and who will realize, hopefully, before it's too late, that if they actually turn HARP on, burning the surface of the earth in fire, that they will burn themselves at the same time. Now, I have, sadly in my life, met people who worship Satan. Gee, that's a big surprise. And who were looking forward to sacrificing themselves to him, then going to hell, and serving him for all time. And no, I have no idea why anyone would want to do that. Please don't ask me. I don't know. I don't know why people would choose to hurt the innocent. I guess I'm kind of slow. I don't know. But the master's idea, their great work, requires the sacrifice of all life on the surface of the planet. Their great work requires that their god, Satan, is called back to rule the earth. Their great work requires them to worship him on the throne of earth, and then to rise up, throw him down, and then to put themselves up on the throne of earth to rule in all time as gods in his place. Why? I honest to God, I have no idea. I really don't. This is so, as I say over and over again, their mentality is so completely alien to ours. They are literally a different life form from us in all ways. Now, I say I have no idea why they want to do that. That's actually not entirely true. I do have some idea. But it covers concepts so vast and so truly bizarre that I have lived with this for decades, and I still can't believe anyone would dream it up. I've heard rumors, I've talked to people, I've chatted with folk. I've seen things. Maybe someday when I have a stronger stomach, we can chat about it, but later. Later if we're still here. But it gets us back to, how do we get the masters to stop polluting our planet, leaving us jobless, homeless, starving in the streets, when all they want to do is steal, rape, and eat our babies? There can be no meeting of the minds between us and our masters. As you know, I talked about this in a previous episode. I knew one of the masters personally. He was on the outs at the time, and he spoke quite freely to me. And he was very, very frank, very open. He said, the only way to stop his people was to start cutting their heads off, like the French did in the late 1700s. I don't think you and I are up to that. I don't think we can do it. And so the Masters will win. They'll at least win this one. Will they manage to burn the Earth using HAARP? I hope not. Because frankly, surviving the flip of the Earth will be hard enough. So now you're asking, well then, why survive at all? Let's go out and party and, get drunk and coke ourselves to death. Which I completely understand and I sympathize with. And I can see that as an alternative, frankly, at this point. It's better than waiting for the wave to wipe you out and hoping you have enough sleeping pills to allow your family to die peacefully. Or you have a doctor in the house and she'll have medicines that she can inject in her family and not watch them die horribly. So yeah, I can sympathize with this point of view, and there have to be options. So why would you want to survive? After the event, when the Masters are finally trapped in their underground cities, at least for a while, we will have an Earth that's been dry cleaned and pressed for us. Renewed, refreshed, rebooted. Planetary lightning will scour the Earth, and it'll leave us with clean air, clean water, fresh oceans. We'll finally have a real oxygen content and won't be suffocating all the time. We'll be living in a high magnetic field. As the dead brown dwarf star moves away from us, our magnetic field will increase, and we need a high magnetic field to be healthy. The Earth will finally, for you and me, be a place worth living in. It'll be a place to have healthy, fresh, clean babies. We'll have long lives to learn about ourselves and learn about each other. We'll have a chance to learn the truth about our history, about ourselves, and about the universe. And maybe at that point it will be time to take our place in the stars with all of those who've gone ahead of us. Because we do actually have family out there. We have older brothers and sisters who fled the Earth eon after eon, event after event. When they learned enough, when they knew enough, they could go. They could escape the prison that the Earth is. So maybe after we survive, maybe, just maybe, they might come home. Come back to visit their little brothers and sisters, you and me. Now that they have come, we have come far enough along that we might be able to understand what they have to tell us. I don't know. But I can hope. Because I've seen hope over and over and over again. I know it's there. I've seen it. I'm still here. And I really shouldn't be. There's no reason, logically, that I'm still alive. But I am. Because I've gotten guidance. Why? No idea. But I can hope. And I have room enough to hope for you too. And I can hope to see you again on the flip side. So for all of us here at the 2012 Fad, this is Charlie Bluehawk, wishing you a really good day and reminding you to please keep just that one good thought.